our last guest is another Ethereum-based NFT project, and it's a collection of 6,924 by 24 bears. NFT holders have access to a plethora of features, and most importantly, it's about the hive, which I'm sure PixelKnight will be able to touch on a little bit today. And the project continues to kind of chug away with a promising roadmap. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the honey farm was just released today or yesterday, which gets a lot more utility to holders and has some more NFTs that are introduced. So PixelKnight, if you're here, you could go ahead and jump up. We're ready to get into your presentation.
All right. Hey, guys. I'll share my screen here in a second.
Awesome.
First of all, thank you for having us on behalf of PixelMage and I. The previous speakers, really awesome stuff. Really cool to see innovative and different, unique ideas coming into different blockchains. So let me go ahead.
Perfect.
All right. So I guess I will I'll speak from a pretty high level. I'll tell you about some of the things we introduced recently in terms of utility. I'll talk about gamification. It's a big thing for us, and I'll just give you a little bit of background about the project.
Awesome.
To start off. So yeah, what you're looking at here, guys, you're looking at a Bears Deluxe on the left. In the middle, you're looking at a Honey Hive Deluxe. On the right, you're looking at a Bees Deluxe. You had just mentioned, as of yesterday, the honey farm went live. So now bear holders have the ability to migrate their bears, and I can explain exactly why if people have questions about that. But when they do so, they're then given access to the features of our ecosystem. They can claim honey. Honey D actually is the name of the ticker, and that's our Honey Deluxe token, which I can also touch a lot on if there are questions. But essentially, this, like other ecosystems, this Honey D token fuels our ecosystem, and it allows you to basically interact with different things. And so one of the first things you can do, as I mentioned, is claim that honey, and then you can mint a hive. And so Honey Hives Deluxe and Bees Deluxe are two independent NFT collections that were released yesterday. And the way that they're minted is this. So there are 6,900 Bears Deluxe, and there are 6,900 Honey Hives Deluxe. To mint them, you just have to migrate your bear and then go over to our website, and there's a user interface where you can then mint the hive for free. You just have to pay gas. And so when you mint the hive, you are then given the ability to mint Bees Deluxe out of that hive. And so it's a good thing to note that, like, although you need a bear to mint a hive, you need a hive to mint a bee. The collections are not tethered to each other, so they're independently sold on the secondary market on OpenSea.
So if I really wanted to, I could just go pick up a hive or a bee if that's something that I was more interested in than kind of doing the whole thing. But if someone wanted to just jump in with Bears Deluxe, they will be able to then mint the other two collections.
Yeah, exactly right. Absolutely. So we, our vision is sort of to give holders and, people interested in our projects the ability to strategize and sort of take different approaches. And that's sort of where gamification comes in. And that's probably a good place to even segue here into my first slide.
Awesome.
So you know how to mint a hive now, and then you can mint bees from that hive. So from the hive, you have to spend 23 honey D, mint a bee. And once you have a bee, that will actually earn its own amount. It's really cool the way we design this, because we're really wanting you to maintain your bees, and that's the gamification element. If you look at the definition at the top, if people don't know what gamification is, it's adding game mechanics into non-game environments. And so basically, hold on one second, guys. Basically, what we've done here is we've given you several options when you mint the bees. So first of all, you have to maintain them, as I explained, and to do that, you have to feed them to keep them alive. You have to spend a certain amount of honey D every 10 days, or your bees will die. If your bees die, you have to spend honey to revive them. If they die, they no longer accrue honey. So the whole point here is to accrue honey and use it to mint NFTs and use it in other future use cases, of course. So basically what we're trying to get you to do here is to be active and to want to, keep up with your bees and to want to earn honey to use for other things in our ecosystem.
And that pretty much I think that perfectly summarizes like the gamification aspects, right? Like you guys are adding all of these game-like mechanics to keep people active. So makes a lot of sense. Also, if anyone has any questions in chat, just be able to throw them in, and we definitely will get into those once PixelKnight finishes up here. But you can continue on.
All right, so I really just, like I said, high level, I want to talk about some of the innovative approaches we've taken. And so a little bit about me and PixelMage. We're software developers, we're artists, we're the entire team. We have a background in game dev. And really our passion is to bring gaming to Web3. And so before we started our blockchain, experience together, and before we started NFTs, we were building games and we were building apps. And so we've built, PixelMage especially has built a collection of retro games, sort of like Super Nintendo, Sega style games, in this game engine called Pico 8. It uses a programming language called Lua, and it's limiting in the sense that, with an emphasis on the retro aspect of it, right? Because it's not for creating vast, incredible, games that you would see from AAA titles today. It's for nostalgic, small, sort of Mario, Sega style games. And so one of the things we've done here is we've created a game called Hungry Bear in that engine. And it's the first installment into what we're calling our retro arcade. And so Hungry Bear was a game we made before Bears Deluxe existed. And sort of like everything else on our roadmap and in our experience here, we're just sort of operating on the fly here. And one of the other presenters even said it, that their roadmap had changed like 3 times. And it's just the nature of the space. And one thing that I think attracts a lot of people of these different communities that we've built here is the ability to change on the fly and to take ideas and to see what else is hot in the space and what's cool right now. And so doing all of that, we sort of transitioned our original thought for just Hungry Bear being a game, and we decided to make it into a collection. And so what we did was we figured out a way where we could deploy it to IPFS, and it could be played so it's deployed to IPFS, and so you can play it on a website, but there's also a playable HTML file, in the sense that some people might be thinking like, well, what if the game went down, right? So you'd still have a playable file of it and you would own it. Awesome. But basically the way it works is there's 50 levels and each level makes up the game. Anyone can play any level of the game, just like a JPEG. You own it, right? You have the ownership proof. And so that's sort of where we started. Then we transitioned into Honey Farm, and right, like as we said, as of yesterday, that's live now. So now we're going to really transition back into our passion that brought us into this space, which is trying to get gaming, more so like retro gaming, hands-on gaming, real gaming. And that's the type of stuff that's the backgrounds that PixelMage and I come from. So and one last thing to mention about the collection here is like we can still incorporate traits and rarity, right? Like some levels can be more rare than others, whether they have different backgrounds or music. PixelMage and I do all of our own original music in our games. And so we're just trying to be creative and think outside the box in terms of what can we turn into an NFT? How can we give ownership of a game? And we really think that this is the future of gaming. So yeah.
Definitely. And just to elaborate there, for the Hungry game, is that where someone would own the entire game, or is it like each level someone owns that? I'm not 100% there.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. Each person owns a level of it. Anyone can play any level of it, but each level has one owner.
Okay. And in the future,
we have beta levels. If you want to play the game, like we have beta levels available on our website.
Awesome. I think I actually saw that. I can try to pull it up real quick and drop it in chat for anyone, unless you beat me to it. Let me see.
Oh, feel free.
Cool. And then just to elaborate there, like for owning the levels, is there any sort of benefit for the owner in the sense of rewards or anything? Or maybe even if that's not right now, is that something you guys have thought about, some way to incentivize people to own the level itself?
Yeah, totally, absolutely. There's a lot of conversations that we've been having about that. A big part of it is revolved around the P2E mechanic that we want to build into our games. We're going to integrate your wallet, and you'll be able to do different things and make interactions with the blockchain in the game, that could be across all of our different games. And so I think that will kind of I think that will draw attention in that respect. But also something we were thinking about was if there was a P2E mechanic and you owned a level, maybe that gave you some sort of ownership, right? And maybe you have a rare level, and maybe if you have a rare level, that you can earn more honey for playing that level, right? Maybe it's a higher honey earned because the level is rare. If you own the level, maybe you can charge a higher amount of honey for somebody to play the level, right? So the whole idea behind the P2E mechanic here is like real retro arcade style, in the sense like you put a token in and you get a bunch of tickets out. In this case, you're putting an X amount of our token in, and then with a chance to win a lot more. And if it's rare, it could be more, it could be set, it could be sort of decided on maybe. And that's sort of the conversations we're having. And I think that's something we really want to do to reward gamers. We are gamers, and we want to reward them. It's a system that doesn't reward the whales, doesn't reward the small hands. It rewards the winners of the game. And so I think that maybe that answers your question.
No, definitely. That was exactly what I was getting at. And I think that's definitely some cool utility. I see you're here on the future utility slide. I think that might be a great segue just into some of the other things you guys are looking to do for players, holders in the ecosystem.
Yeah, totally. So before and just to again reiterate, like changing lanes, changing gears, always switching up the roadmap until the primary goal becomes clear. NFT Paint, the D app that Pixelmage and I were working on, before Bears Deluxe was a thing. Excuse me. And what NFT Paint is this. Everyone is probably familiar with Microsoft Paint or applications like that. So what NFT Paint does, it allows you to go onto a website, and it looks like a canvas similar to Microsoft Paint. And you can make a painting and a drawing with very similar interface tools. But when you're done with it, you can click a couple of buttons and you can mint it into an NFT.
That's sweet.
And so this was a really cool and unique idea that Pixelmage came up with. And it was sort of one of the first blockchain related ideas and applications that we had. Someone needs to mute.
Oh, I think we lost you there for a second. Not quite sure what happened to Pixelmage, but I do like that idea of NFT Paint.
I'm still here.
Okay, perfect. I was just gonna say, like, I like the idea of that. I think that's a great way to onboard users. Like minting, I'm sure a lot of people get kind of thrown off and scared away by the whole process of minting, and having an interface, like who hasn't opened MS Paint, even if you're not an artist, like it's just something very easy to use. So thought that was an interesting.
Sure, maybe there's a few written steps on how to like set up a MetaMask, and like that's all it would take for someone who doesn't know anything about this space to get introduced to it and mint an NFT of their own. So that was sort of where we started, and then Bears hit, and then we switched gears. So now we have some interesting plans for it in the future, and we're going to integrate this application with our Metaverse. So I guess I'll preface with the fact that Bears Deluxe has partnered with the Sandbox. We have an estate coming that will be announced in the next land sale, and we've already started building our Metaverse. It's looking really cool. We've got a lot of prototypes for our VX Bear collection, which will drop in sometime Q1 2022. We are promising 6,900 of the VX Bears be reserved for the 2D holders of Bears Deluxe, and you'll get a 1-to-1 3D replica of your bear. And we plan on carrying the traits over in terms of rarity in similar ways. But furthermore, we want to integrate NFT Paint into our metaverse. And one idea we've seen based off of what other people have done and some of the official sandbox videos, we're going to build a museum in our space where community members will have their paintings that are minted in NFT Paint up in the museum. So if you mint an NFT painting, you'll be able to go into the metaverse and see it in our virtual museum. You'll also be able to buy it. And so the point is, we want to give some sort of reward or royalty to the artists who then, have their paintings displayed in our museum and then can be purchased. So basically, we're thinking like all of these paintings will go into one collection that will be on OpenSea, right? And then they'll be displayed in our metaverse, and anyone can go in and buy them right from the metaverse. And so that's a really cool way to keep our community involved and to showcase their own content, inside of our metaverse.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a great way to just build out the ecosystem as well. Like there's a lot of parts that interact with each other, and then bringing it all into the metaverse is kind of like this holy grail discussion that has been going on in the NFT and gaming space. So I definitely think that's unique. And to see you guys leverage partners, bring that to the sandbox, that's definitely a really fun and I think unique move there.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, we're artists, we're game devs, and so we're having a really fun time building it. And that's such an important element to all of this, right? And I really liked one of the previous presenters who separated like fun and finance, because at least from the developing side, like I can totally relate. It's just as important for it to be a fun experience, right? So that's really cool. We're really proud of what we've done. We've got 7 contracts working together in tandem. We've got a contract implemented for upgradability, so we really want to plan on the future. In doing so, we can have these honey hives in existence with no utility right now, but we can build utility around them. We don't know what it is. We love our Discord. We have one of the coolest Discords of all time, not because of me and PixelKnight, but because of all the people who come in and hang out with us and share ideas. And we're really, really into listening and giving everyone a voice. And so, if anyone has any cool ideas, like come on in and chat, and maybe we can figure out what these honey hives can do. Because at some point, right, all the bees are going to be minted out. And then essentially for their current use case, the hives would be useless in this, besides being a really cool animated GIF profile picture, what have you. So yeah, the last note is that like, we're just working on games. That's our future. PixelKnight and I have I have plans to make full-scale games with Web3 integration, right? Like we've been working on for a while now, a 2D platform RPG, sort of like Zelda meets MapleStory meets RuneScape and Diablo. It's kind of cool, but we want to make it like a full-scale multiplayer game where you can earn honey, you can spend honey. So yeah, a lot of really cool things in the pipeline, but just a big emphasis on gaming since that's our background and that's our really overall passion here.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks so much, PixelKnight. If anyone wants to drop again questions in chat, PixelKnight will be around to pick those up. I do just have a couple things here, just question wise. I don't know if you want to go over this last slide real quick, point anyone in the right direction for places they can go after this as well.
Sorry, what was the question?
I was just saying, you could go ahead and point anyone where they need to go on this last slide.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sure. So like, I guess the biggest resource would be to go straight to our website. You can learn all about it. I think it's really well laid out. We've worked really hard on it. You can go to our website, and we created these viewers where you can go and look at our collections by ID. And so, there are things there are data points and sort of states of our NFTs that you can't find on OpenSea. And so there's really this cool do your own research element built into our website where you can see how many bees a hive has minted. You can see, has a bear, minted its respective hive? Is a bee alive? If you're looking to buy it on the secondary market, maybe you don't want to buy a dead bee, what have you. So there's a lot of cool stuff to explore around there. And then also, right, like just hit the Discord because it's pretty popping. Pretty popping 24/7, and the people keep it lively. So having a good time over there. Otherwise, hit us on Twitter, and we're friendly. We love to talk. So
Yeah.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you so much for jumping on, PixelKnight. I'm sure we will hear from you guys in the near future. And again, we're definitely going to be looking out for any developments. We do have our Ethereum news page going on now, so we'll definitely be following you guys there, especially for any viewers. They'll be able to keep up with you guys, of course, via your own socials, but we will also be trying to keep an eye out and our ear low to the ground on anything that's building there as well.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks so much for having us. We're thrilled to be here.